month we seize a foreshadow of the kingdom where joy will increase. The gates will open when that day arrives. Eternal Shabbat where forever we thrive. God, the Shabbat, Kadash the day. No work, no business, cast burdens away. No buying, no selling, no worldly ways. The covenant is true. To Yahuah we pray. From sunrise to sunset, a sign forever. For Yasharal, this day is a treasure. The Naviim warn, do not turn away. The Shabbat is Kadash, keep it Yahuwah's way. Yahusha King, the Adon of rest, showed us the path that is pure and best. From one Shabbat to another we'll sing in the city of light with our eternal King. No toil, no tears, no shadow, no fight, only the joy of his endless life. God the Shabbat, Kadash the day. No work, no business, cast burdens away. No buying, no selling, no worldly ways. The covenant is true. To Yahuwah we pray. From sunrise to
Yes, hallelujah, Yahuah.
sunset, forever for Yasharal. This day is a treasure. This day is the pledge
Yes.
of the world to come, when the reign of Yahuwah has fully begun. The river will flow, the trees will stand, life everlasting in the promised land.
Yes.
Every voice will rise, every knee shall bow in the Shabbat of Yahuwah that will never end. We wait for the trumpet, we keep the sign.
That's right.
Our hearts in rhythm with Yahuwah's design. We guard this day till the kingdom appears. The eternal Shabbat through unending years. In all this, his love fully shown. Yahuwah's rest will be our home. God the Shabbat, Kadash the day. No work, no business, cast burdens away. No buying, no selling, and no worldly way. The covenant is true. To Yahuwah we pray. From sunrise to sunset, a sign forever for Yasharal. This day is a treasure.
All right, Mishpachah. That is called Shabbat by Yasharal Original Music. And yes, Mary, I will make sure to send that out to you. Please email me and send me your address and I'll take care of you, okay? No worries. I wanted to also show this ahaba that I got, this love that I got from our Akudi Nazareth. Look at this. Look at this beauty. Would you look at that? Look at this. Look at this. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess. Yahusha, Yahuah. Yahuah is on top, Yahusha's on bottom there in Paleo Hebrew. How beautiful that is. Tudata Akodi, I really appreciate you sending that to me. I just have it up there temporarily. I wanted to show that to the Mishpachah. And yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful. Okay. I don't even know. Akodi, are you here? Akodi Nazareth? I don't know if I seen you. I think I saw you earlier. So for those of you who have your calendar beads, just want to make sure that we're all in sync. We are on the 11th month of Yahuwah's calendar on the 9th day. This is how yours should look with the tie down. Okay. The day is always below the tie down. All right. So when you're like moving it around and all that stuff, it's not going to get unjumbled. You're going to always remember what day it is. All right. But yes, Mary, I will make sure to send this identical one to you. This one right here. All right. So now I'm going to be reading some comments. We're going to see what everybody wants to talk about, share, what have you. So this is where we get a chance to be able to speak or share, I should say. Let's see. Just messaged me of one of her songs I listened to. Oh, okay, Joanna. Requesting applause for my grandson Braden. He's in the hospital with partial collapsed lungs. Okay, yes. Let's go ahead and pull. We got a pull for Braden. I think that's how you say his name. Braden. Yes, Braden with his collapsed lungs. Frank Cutlass, we're gonna pray for you, and Marcy Phillips as well. Yes. Let's do that. So let me put down Braden. Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, we come before you with these Palal requests. Abba, you know all things. There's nothing that is hidden from you. Abba, we come to you because we know that you are able and capable of doing these miraculous recoveries for us. We pray for Frankie and his situation, Marcy, and I believe it's her nephew. I can't quite remember, but you know all of their needs. Braden with his lungs that is collapsing. Abba, we ask that you would just take care of each and every one of them. You know very well what's going on with each one of them, oh Abba. And so we just commit it all into your hands. We wish we can do more, but you're the one who's able to do all things, oh Abba. And so we palal and ask these things in the mighty name of your Bain, Yahushua HaMashiach, that it be your desire, your will, oh Yah. And to use this opportunity and occasion, oh Abba, to bring them closer and those that are around them closer to you. All these things we ask in the mighty, powerful name of your Bain, Yahushua HaMashiach. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Amat. Please palal for my wife and her stomach. Right now we palal for Betty and what she is going through with her stomach, oh Abba. We ask that you would cure her as well of whatever may be ailing her stomach. If it be any type of virus, if it be any kind of parasite, if it be anything in there, oh Abba, that should not be in her stomach or what's causing the discomfort, oh Yah. We ask right now in the mighty name of your Bain, Yahushua HaMashiach, to make her whole, to the esteem and to the honor of your name, O Abba. In Yahushua's name we palal. Hallelujah, Yahuwah. Yes, yes. There's my Cody Nazareth. Cody Nazareth, I was just showing them the banner that you sent me, how beautiful it is. I was just showing them this right here, what you did, or what you sent me. How beautiful. I wish I could put that on a pole on the back of my truck and fly it like if I was part of Taliban or something. You know what I mean? Have people looking at it like, what? Like our Aki Swank Swank be doing over there in Palm Springs. He got that black flag with Yahuwah's name on it. It's so beautiful. I know people be looking at him like, is that a white boy sitting up in that truck flying that flag? But they don't know he's talking about Yahuwah. He ain't talking about no ISIS killer or none of that. All right. Don't get rid of PACA. I don't know how to say that name. Paka Earn. Paka Earn. We see you say Jesus is king. Would you like to elaborate? Yahuwah, let's see. Why did they cross the Jordan in verse, I guess that's 5S, Joshua 4:12? Seems to be set apart number 5, virgins 5 months. CQ, I haven't really looked into that. That's interesting. Uh, let's see. Can you give me that passage that you're talking? So Joshua chapter 4. Let me see here. Let me open this up in the book because my mind isn't really following what you're asking. So let's go to Yahusha chapter 4, and you said it was verse 12. Yeah, I never noticed that. And the sons of Reuben and the sons of Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh passed over in fives before the children of Yasharal as Masha had spoken to them. Very interesting. I don't know the significance of that number 5 there, Cody. About 40,000 armed ones of the army passed over before Yahuah for battle to the desert plain of Jericho. On that day, Yahuah made Yahusha great before the eyes of all Yasharal, and they feared him as they had feared Masha all the days of his life. I can see how you can use that with the 5 wise virgins. Yes, I can see that, Cody. Yes. I see you, Aki Stephen. No, it's for me and me alone, Aki Stephen. No, just kidding. I'm sure she sells those. It's beautiful, though. Let's see. Shabbat Shalom, Makoti Brook. A lot of people do that here in Hawaii. They have a lot of flags on their car. They fly them, the wrong nations too. Abba forgive them. Yeah, right. I ran into a question in Judges 11. Judges 11. Let's see. Let's go to Judges. Saphatim, Judges 11. And that is there any specific verse in Judges 11 of Cody Brook? Oh, no, not Cody Brook. Mr. Kane, you put Judges 11. You ran into a question in Judges 11. If you can expound on whatever the question is, maybe we can look at it together and figure that out. Let's see here. I'm catching up with you guys. I can put another order for more banners if y'all are interested. Yes. And let them know what they need. I don't want to talk about the monies, but you can talk to them later about that, Cody. Hasbra, is there a reason why everything feels super heavy and difficult even when it is not at this time? What time of year is this based on the Hebrew calendar? Hasbra, you're saying a lot there, but I'm not quite following your question here. Is there a reason why everything feels super heavy and difficult? What feels super heavy and difficult, Hasbra, at this time? And then you ask the question, what time of year is this based on the Hebrew calendar? That too, if you can specify. I don't mind answering your question. I just need to know your thought process and what it is that you're asking me. Please pull off for me, and I am going through a very bad breakup. He does not belong to Yahuah. I guess this is your significant other that you're talking about, Cody Lauren. Heavenly Abba, we ask that you would work out whatever is going on between Cody Lauren and her significant other, if it be your will for them to be together, or if not, O Abba. May we continue to do what you have called us to do, as we are to be found ourselves to be doing your will, be it that we're single or if we're married. Abba, we know that everything to you has nothing to do with man's institution. For we know the way you look at marriage has nothing to do with the license, O Abba, but it has to do with the heart condition, that we have accepted the other as our partner, and that you show that to be that we are one flesh. Abba, if they are to separate, may our Cody Lauren be content being single before you, and that she may give herself and dedicate herself to you totally. For we know that our happiness is not found with a significant other, but our happiness relies and lies in you, O Yah. May both parties, may their minds be content in whatever it is that you want them to do, oh Abba, but may your desire be done in each one of their lives. This is the Palal that we pull off for our Cody Lauren in Yahusha's mighty name. Vanessa Davis, we are getting close to Pesach. Will you be teaching the correct way to celebrate Pesach? Yes, we'll be going through it as we get closer, so you guys know what to get. All you really need is to bake your own, or I should say, make your own matzah crackers, and have wine or juice. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Aki. Aki Manuel, or it's not Aki Al. So tomorrow I'm going to be coming on in the morning. It has to do with Pesach. Speaking of Pesach, especially for those of you who've already paid in. Some of you still need to pay in the rest, but again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. There is an opportunity. I don't know if our Cody Elaine is here. Our Cody Elaine, your spot is still open. Okay, so I'm not going to be sending your money back unless you're not coming, but your spot is available now. So we're going to make sure that we hold your spot. You've already sent in your monies, so I just want to let you know that your spot is available in Phoenix for our Pesach celebration before Abba Yahuah. We're probably going to have 3 or 4 other openings. We ended up, well, we haven't gotten it yet, but we're getting ready to make some changes with our accommodations. So we're going to end up getting 3 Airbnbs, and so this is going to allow us to be able to facilitate everyone comfortably, and also get a rental vehicle. We're going to rent a van for pickup. The only thing that might be a hindrance is when it's time to leave. We're going to be able to take some of you guys to the airport, but some of you might have to take an Uber back to the airport. So I'm just letting you guys know that right now, just to put that out there. Again, this doesn't happen until April, so I'm sure you can put some money aside for your Uber to get back to the airport. Okay, but as far as coming in, we'll make sure to get you guys, because we're going to be doing a lot of shuttling on April 1st, me and a couple of the Akis. So just want to say that. But again, I'm going to be coming on tomorrow morning, probably right around 9 o'clock my time, so that'll be 10 o'clock Mountain, 11 o'clock Central, 12 o'clock in the afternoon there on the East Coast. Okay, and we'll get more into it there, but don't really want to talk about that today, being that it's Shabbat. Okay, let's see here. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so we got somebody say yes. JESUS is LORD of LORDS's. No, he's not. I know who you love, but JC is not the one that you're going to confess and bend the knee to. Okay, that name has been given to us. That wasn't the name that was given to us by Yahuah. That's a name that has been given to us by Satan. Satan is the one who changes the truth. The Creator stays on point. He stays on truth. It doesn't change. He doesn't waver. His name is Yahuah, and he came in the flesh as Yahusha. JC is a man-made name, okay? Nobody in first generation Palestine was going around calling him JC, all right? And JC is not English, okay? JC finds its roots in Greek mythology. Now, I'm not going to go any further than that. You can look into it. Today, we are admonishing our Creator, Yahuah, by his true name. If you don't like his true name, that's a personal problem between you and the Creator, but we do not deny his name, as it says in Revelation chapter 3, verse 9. We acknowledge his name. We praise his name. We exalt his name. JC is not the name. I detest that name. I speak against that name. Okay? So anybody who comes up in here, if you keep going off at the lip on that, I got moderators who will get rid of you. We'll deal with you for the first or second, post that you do. But if you keep coming up with the JC name, which is the pagan deity of Zeus, we're not going to deal with that. Okay. Just because your eyes aren't open and you want to continue to fabricate this lie and continue to go on with the name of our Messiah, who's Hebrew and not Greek. Okay. We're going to have an issue with you, and we'll just go ahead and remove you out the room. You can go find another room on some other platform, if not here on YouTube, to find someone who loves your JC as you do. But we're not the ones that love that name. We love who he stands for, but we don't love him. Okay, we don't love the JC character. We don't love the image of the JC character. And we dang sure don't love the doctrine of the teachings as they have given to the JC character about how the law has been done away with. Mr. King, that is okay. So Judges 11, again, that is one of those mystery chapters that you're talking about when it has to do with Yapta giving his daughter as an offering to Yahuah. There's a lot of vagueness in this passage. It doesn't really tell us much. It almost seems like Yaphet, because of him making this, or Yapta making this announcement, proclamation, that the first thing that comes out of his home, he was going to unalive it as an offering to Abba Yahuah. And the first thing that came out of his house was his young daughter. I don't know what to make of that. I really don't. Okay. I'm just going to leave the story as it is because I truly don't know, nor do I want to add to it. Carmen Gonzalez, you say read earlier in the books of scriptures are the following: Isaiah 58. Oh, this is the passages that I was reading earlier. Yes, okay. I was like, huh, you want me to read all of that? I think we just read all of that earlier. I appreciate you posting that for everyone else, Carmen. Appreciate that, Cody. Pakar Hearn, I hope I said your name right. You just say, yes, brother, he is. I don't know what you mean by he is. Are you saying that JC is Lord? And again, you notice that I'm spelling the word Lord. If you know the etymology of the word Lord, the origin of the word Lord, which is what I'm saying, you'll find out that Lord is a very bad word, and we should not associate it with our Creator. He tells us not to do so, and that he is going to remove the name of Lord out of our mouth. And you can find that in Hosea chapter 2. But again, Christianity doesn't teach us that stuff, so it causes the problems. Okay. Ren R5V, hope you're still here. You say, I am new to your channel. Question, do you honor the Sabbath today? Yes, Ren. Let me catch up with everybody here because I'm way behind all the comments. Yes, Ren, I do, and we do. Okay. It has to do with the true calendar. The calendar that has been given to us, Ren, as you and I know as the days of the week, the today being SUN day, and people say it's the Extions day today. Actually, the way that our Creator's calendar works is that it moves. Okay, it moves with the sun, the SUN. The sun is how we find our Sabbath. The Sabbath that we've been thinking is the seventh day of the week, and they call it SAT day, like yesterday, and how a lot of people erroneously think that a day begins in the evening when it doesn't. It begins when the sun comes up. All of this, again, is topsy-turvy. They have taken what the truth is and they spun it. It's right there in the text, but they're not going to tell you how to rightly interpret the word. And so they got you believing that a day begins in the evening and that the Sabbath is on the pagan day known as SAT day. But you cannot peg the day SAT day with the sun. Like you cannot say, well, how does the sun tell you that today is the Sabbath according to the SAT day that we've been keeping as the seventh day of the week all of our life? Nobody can peg what we know as SAT day with the sun. It's just a day that they have given us and say, this is the seventh day. This is the seventh day. Every time it comes around, they say, this is the seventh day, but they can't peg it to the movement of the sun. Whereas the Creator says in Genesis chapter 1, verses 14, 15, and 16, that these orbs in the sky is going to be for setting our times and our years, our days and our years, okay, for our feast days, right? Then you have people who go so far as to what these Jewish people are doing, where they're following the lunar cycle and they're following the moon with its phases, which again, nowhere in scripture do you ever see anybody looking at the moon, of the sliver of the moon in the western sky, and telling you, oh, we just entered a new month. You won't find that anywhere in scripture, nor do you find anyone ever observing the phases of the moon in the scriptures, stating that this is when the beginning of the month is. But we will find this in the book of Jubilees, that it tells us to use the sun, the sun, to mark out our days, to mark out when the Sabbath is. And then he tells us in the same book of Jubilees that we're not to use the moon whatsoever. Anyone who uses the moon, you will be in error as to the days and the months and the years and the Sabbath and the Jubilee years and all of that. So anyone who follows the moon is already wrong. Anyone who's following the Gregorian calendar and its weeks of days is already wrong. So you have to study this true calendar that was given to Enoch and was also given to Moses. It was also told to Daniel. It was also told to John in the book of Revelation. And you'll see that this, and they're not the only ones. It's literally littered all through from Genesis to Revelation, but you have to have the eyes to see it and ears to know it, to see that it's all literally in the book. So it would have to take you to come and study with us. I'm not doing it today. We do have videos on this on TikTok. We also have some here. Actually, I probably took that one down. I'm only allowing certain amount of videos to be on this channel at any given time, and then I'm taking them down and then putting new ones on. So the ones that are on there now, they're going to be taken off later on this evening. But the new ones, or I should say the one from last week will still be on, and the ones today will still be on. But the week prior to last week, those will be gone. And the only way you can get that is if you let me know that you want to see it, and I'll send you a link so that you can watch it. Okay, I definitely still need to learn the true calendar. Yes, Marie, and again, it's because of all the years of programming that it makes it difficult for people. I think sometimes the best way to learn the calendar is truly to just go out in the wilderness, forget everything behind you, don't even know what day of the week it is, and then just start using the sundial, and you'll start to find yourself easily finding out, oh, this is so simple. And the only reason why it's hard, because we still have the distraction of the Babylonian calendar called the Gregorian calendar, the Roman Catholic calendar, that is causing the confusion. When you remove that and you're just dealing with the sun, the sun, with the sundial, it all comes into focus. It all comes to your understanding. But when you're constantly trying to take the sundial and the way we're supposed to keep the calendar, and you want to use and superimpose the Gregorian calendar over Yahuah's calendar, that's where you're getting the confusion, because that's like apples and oranges. They're not the same. Totally different. They might be both fruits. They might be both calendars, but that doesn't mean that calendar, you can explain the true calendar with the fake calendar. It doesn't work. Let's see. Yahusha walks with me. Let's see. You said, so is this a fruitful time of the year for the mighty ones people? I'm trying to understand what's going on right now in this 2026. Okay, so many of us, we kind of, and I like your question. Let me make sure I remember who it was here. Yahusha walks with me. I like your question, but here's the problem. When you take the year 2026, which is a man-made invention, and you try to say, well, You know, this year is going to be different than last year. You're using an imaginary period of time to say as if something has changed from 2025 to 2026. In actuality, it changes every spring equinox, okay? Because that's the beginning and the ending of a year, according to Yahuah, the creator, okay? So Yahusha, the creator, who is Yahuah in the flesh, he gave us the calendar. So if you're wanting to know what is getting ready to happen the next year, well, we haven't entered into the new year yet. The new year happens at spring equinox. We're coming to the end of last year. We're still in last year's time, okay? And again, we're not talking about the Gregorian 2025 and 2026. We're talking about Yahuwah's timepiece, okay? And his timepiece, again, starts and ends on the spring equinox. The spring equinox usually occurs. Notice I say the word usually, not every March 20th, but it usually happens on March 20th, okay? And that's when the spring equinox happens. If that is the day that it happens, then that is the ending marker of the last year, and we're going into a new year, okay? That is the true Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. Shoshana, yes. So we're in the year 5,990 something. We're almost getting ready to go into the seventh day, the seventh millennium. Okay, but we're not quite there yet. We're almost there, but we're just not quite there. Once we enter into that time, that's when the Messiah is coming. When he comes, that is the beginning of the Sabbath, the millennial Sabbath. Excuse me. So is spring equinox day 1 or day 364? Spring equinox is day 1. Day 1. Shamat. SUN day is the first day. See a calendar. Again, Shamat, you're thinking with the Babylonian understanding and the Gregorian understanding, who gave us what you know as SUN day being the first day of the week to see a calendar. That is not the true calendar that you're speaking of. The true calendar has nothing to do with the Gregorian calendar that was given to us by the Catholic Church, okay? The whole world is following the calendar that you're talking about, that SUN day is the first day of the week. It is not the first day of the week according to the creator right now. Right now, what you say is the first day of the week is actually the last day of the week until the spring equinox. Once the spring equinox happens, then the what you know as SUN day will not be the first day of the week. It will be the sixth day of the week. But you would have to come into this true understanding to know this. Is head of months an appointed time for Yahuwah? Numbers 10:10, Numbers 28:11. Yes, so Rosh Kadash, Kodesh Collective, Rosh Kadash. Rosh meaning head, Kadash meaning month, okay, or a period, okay. Rosh meaning the head. So it's if you really read it for what it is, it's the head of renew. Okay, head Rosh, Kadash, renew. Okay. So head of renew of what? Of the period, of the 30-day period. It cycles back over. Okay. Every month is 30 days, according to the book of Enoch. And we see the same thing according to Daniel and the book of Revelation, that a month is a 30-day period. So the beginning of every month is a Rosh Kadash, but there seems to be a discrepancy in what we are understanding about which one is the Rosh Kadash that we are supposed to treat like a Shabbat. There are 4 in a year that we are to do that, and those 4 in a year is clearly stated that these are the beginnings of the seasons. Those four are to be celebrated as we read in the book of Jubilees. I believe it's in chapter 2. It marks out the seasons. Those are the heads of the seasons. Also, the head of those months. It happens every 3 months. Let me see here. Somebody said something about a pastor. Maybe I just saw it and didn't really read it. Samot, or however you say your name, 5868. Let me just say that. 5868, you say the Naval Observatory says in the 1930s era correspondence rather than a recent, I'm not sure quite what you're trying to say there, official statement, the weekly cycle of days has not been broken or changed for thousands of years. You know, it's so funny that somebody would use something like the Naval Observatory to tell us something when they were not even there. It's just like the scientists who want to tell us and make us believe that the earth is 3.5 billion years old, but who was here 3.5 billion years ago to tell us that that was the beginning? If you're going to use strata layers to say that this is the way that dirt has been settling on the earth, okay, at a normal rate, not even taking into consideration that there's storms, there's floods, that there's other weather manipulating things that can cause uh, an error in the reading of the strata layers. Okay, this is why you can't go by what man says. All right, because man will lead you astray every single time, especially when you see a dead tree trunk that is going through about 30, 40 different strata layers. Then you need to ask yourself the question, which strata layer was that tree part of? I can tell you what happened. That was called a earth-wide flood, also known as Noah's flood. And then it could have happened before Noah's flood, because there was a flood before Noah's that you read about in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. That was the original flood. And there might have been a flood before then. We don't know. But we do know of those two floods because they're both written in the book of Genesis. 5868, who's your great great granddaddy? And you can't prove it. What's your point? I do know who my great great granddaddy is because I have a what is called a family tree. So what is your point? I think he did come to argue at Cody Stella, and if he continues, I'm just going to have them remove him or her. I don't know if it's a him or her. Daily Pseudo, would I like to visit Poland? I don't know if I would like to visit Poland right now with all the stuff that's going on, and being that you guys are right next to Belarus with all of this stuff that's happening between NATO and Russia at this moment. But I would love to come there during peacetime if it's not gonna, if we don't see peace, then I guess I'm never going to Poland as it is today. Extraterrestrial, you said, was there a other flood apart from Noah's? Question mark. And then you said, please. When was that? Let me show you extraterrestrial. Let's go to the very beginning of what we know as the book of Genesis. You see, many of us read things, but the problem is a lot of our so-called teachers, preachers, and pastors, they don't like to really get into the truth. They like to teach us tradition. You know? Oh, I guess 5868 done got the boot. This is what happens when some of y'all keep running your mouths. Now you got to stand on the outside and listen in. Yep, you just been kicked out of the assembly. Okay. While I'm over here spilling this on my beautiful shirt. All right. Let's go ahead and read this. Extraterrestrial, are you still here before I read it? Are you still here, extraterrestrial? And before we read this, we need to do our Ra Palah, our evening prayer. Oh, you are still here. Okay, extraterrestrial. So let me pray with the assembly real quick, because it is time for our evening prayer as the sun is going down here on the West Coast, and then we'll get into the question you asked me. Okay. Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, we come before you at this time of the Arab Palah, the evening prayer, to offer up our offerings from the fruit of our lips, O Abba, as we have been told to do so at this time of the day. Abba, as we continue to give you praise, honor, and esteem for all your wonderful work that you have done, that has been written in these words of the books, O Abba, so that we can look at you as the one who is the author and finisher of all of our amunah, our faith. Because you created all things, and all things exist and consist because you, O Abba, is holding everything by your word. We thank you, O Abba, for how wonderful you are, how extravagant your works and mighty works are, O Abba, all around us. Truly, there is none like you. There is none beside you. There's none above you, for you are the Al Shaddai. You are the Most High, Almighty. And we give you praise and honor and esteem. We continue to palah for our Akis and Akodis all around the world who call upon your name and seek your face. We ask and continue to ask for a hedge of protection on each one of us. And the palahs that we brought before you earlier, O Abba, for those who are sick or have any ailment or anything that is happening to Moya, please, O Abba, we ask that you would meet them. Take care of them. May your Ruach move upon them and heal them of all their infirmities. For it is by your stripes that we have been healed. And we thank you, and we speak it into our lives in Yahusha's mighty name. Hallelujah, hallelujah, and hallelujah. Rumamu Yahuwah. Amat. All right. So extraterrestrial, let's get into this. I want you to see this, extraterrestrial. And for those of you who probably have never heard this before, notice what it says here. I'm reading out of TS 2009, also known as the Scriptures. And it says here, in the beginning, Alua Elohim created the Shamaim, that is the heavens, and the Arats, that is the earth. I want you to see what it says here. And the Arats came to be. This is a prepositional phrase here, extraterrestrial. It came to be formless and empty. You see, this is why translations are so important. Let me show you how this is written in the King James Version. This is the King James Version that I have before you. Before we read verse 1, let me show you what it says here. So you see that it is the King James Version, commonly known as the Authorized King James Version. We're going to go to the same passage. Notice how it says in verse 2. And the Arats was without form and void. It's missing a key piece here. It's not letting you know that there was something that happened before it became without form and it became void and it became dark. You see, this is why when you read it straight from the Hebrew into the English, this is how it should have been read or written in the English. And the earth came to be extraterrestrial. You see that? It came to be formless. So if it came to be formless, that means it had form before. If it came to be empty, that means that it wasn't empty before. If it came to be dark, that means it wasn't darkness before. Something caused this change. It was a cataclysmic change that happened on this earth. And so what you see here, Botu Hotu, I hope I'm saying that right. I got to remember. I got to go back and look at it. In the Hebrew, it means came to be in the English. Tohu bohu. Bohu tohu. That's what it is. Bohu tohu. It means came to be, formless and empty. Okay, so if it came to be formless and empty, that means that it had form, and that means it was teeming with life, and that it was light. And it says, And the darkness was on the face of the deep. What's the face of the deep? The face of the deep would have been what we know as space. Everything in what we know as space outside of our environment, what we call outer space, is this face of the deep. And the Ruach, the spirit of Yahuah Elohim, was moving on the face of the waters. So right here, if the earth is formless, okay, the earth is formless and it's empty, it's covered with water. There's no mountain peaks. There's no valleys. And I'm going to show you why we know there was no mountain peak. There was not even land. Let's read verse 9. And Yahuah Elohim said, let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it came to be, again, a process of time. It came to be so. And Yahuah Elohim called the dry land the earth. And the collection of the waters he called seas, or today we call it oceans. Okay? But notice what it said. It said that let the dry land appear. So what happened? The dry land, or the land which was wet, it was under the water. So either Yahuah caused the waters to recede so that the dry land appeared, or he caused the dry land to come up out of the water so that it would appear, and then collected the waters together from around the continents and called that the oceans or the seas. So this is what we're seeing here. So this was the first flood, or the flood that we know of that was before Noah's flood. We also have a second witness to this, that this cataclysm happened. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 4. In Jeremiah chapter 4, it tells us this. Verse 23. And I looked at the earth, and I saw it was formless and empty. Same thing we see in Genesis chapter 1, verse 2. And the earth came to be formless and empty. Go back to Jeremiah. And the heavens, they had no light. Go back to Genesis. And darkness was on the face of the deep. Talking about the heavens, was totally pitch black. The space was pitch black. And I looked at the mountains and saw and shook, and all the hills were swaying. I looked and saw there was no man, and all the birds of the Shamayim had fled. I looked and saw the garden land was a wilderness, and all the cities were broken down at the presence of Yahuah by his burning displeasure. And thus said Yahuah, all the earth shall be a ruin, but I shall not make a complete end. This is when the flood happened. Not Noah's flood, the flood that we read about in Genesis, when the waters was covering the earth. On account of this, let the earth mourn and the heavens above be dark, because I have spoken, because I have proposed and shall not relent, nor do I turn back from it. This right here, now I'm going to tell you my opinion. What I believe happened here, which caused this cataclysm, was the fall of Halal. You may know him as Lucifer, the Latin name for the light bringer. Halal, who we know as Satan, his name literally meant praise. When he was created, he was perfect in all his ways. Okay, there was no sin in him, as we read in Ezekiel, I believe it's chapter 28. He had no sin. He knew no sin until iniquity, lawlessness was found in him. He rebelled against one of the commandments of Yahuah. What that commandment is, we're never told, but pride entered into his heart. When that happened, this was the result. The earth was destroyed. How was the earth destroyed? Notice here that the Garden of Eden, I saw the garden land. It was a wilderness. This garden is the garden, not that Adam and Eve was in. This was the Garden of Eden that predates Adam and Eve. Let me show you. Let's go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel 28. Let's read about Satan. He's not called Satan here. He's called the king of Tyre, or the king of Zor in this translation. And the word, this is Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 11. And the word of Yahuah came to me, saying, Son of Adam, take up a lamentation for the sovereign of Zor. And you shall say to him, this is speaking of Satan, thus the master Yahuah said, you were sealed up a pattern. I'm going to read this in the King James so you can understand this a little better. You were sealing up a pattern, complete in wisdom and perfect in loveliness. Notice what it says here, verse 13. You were, past tense, in Eden, the garden of Yahuah Elohim. Every precious stone was your covering, the ruby, topaz, diamond, beryl, shoham, and jasper, sapphire, turquoise, emerald, and gold. The workmanship of your settings and mountings was prepared for you on the day you were created, not born. He was created. Every single angel was created. None of them were born. Notice verse 14 to let us know that this isn't just a person. This ain't no man. This is a fallen angel. You were the anointed cherub, an anointed angel that covered. And I placed you. You were on the set apart mountain. You were in the set apart kingdom of Yahuah Elohim. You walked up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. That's the other angels who were made just like he was made with these precious stones. These other angels are also made of these stones, like little glitters of stones all over their skin. You are perfect in your ways from the day you were, here it is again, created until unrighteousness was found in you. But the greatness of your trade, some translations will say the merchant of your commerce, you became filled with violence within. So this was what was going on in his heart. He had anger issues, and you transgressed, you sinned, you broke Yahuwah's law. So I thrusted you from the mountain of Yahuah Elohim. This is when he was kicked out of the kingdom. And I destroyed you, O covering cherub, or a covering angel, from the midst of the stones of fire. So he was removed from the 2/3 of the angels that he was in charge of, because as you and I both know, 1/3 of the angels followed him. Your heart was lifted up because of your loveliness. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. I threw you to the earth. I laid you before the sovereigns to look at you. This part has not happened yet. We know that this happens later during the Great Tribulation, when there is no room found for him anymore in the heavens. He is thrusted down to the earth. So this right here lets us know Satan, because of his heart being lifted up, pride was set in. So now let's read this in the New King James Version, because I cannot stand the way the King James Version reads with the these, thous, and those. I don't like that kind of Shakespearean language. Let's go to the New King James, which is a little bit more for me to handle. Because thou knowest that I don't like to speak it that wayest. I'm just joking. Okay. Let's read this. Let's read it again. Ready? Now from the the New King James. Moreover, the word of Yahuah, of course, I'm going to not say this word because, again, that's pagan, came to me saying, Son of Adam, take up a lamentation for the king of Tyre, and say to him, thus says Yahuah Yahuah Elohim, you were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. This is why so many people on this earth right now who are beautiful to look at, who are handsome to look at, Satan usually has them. You don't find too many people who are beautiful and handsome that are going to find this truth. You know why? Because they're just like Satan. They love the attention. They love the attraction that they get from others, bystanders looking at them and saying, oh my gosh, wow, did you see her or did you see him? Look at the way they look, how beautiful they are, how handsome they are. What happens? Pride sets in. It goes to their head. Now they act like their crap don't stink, and now they walk around with their head all lifted up because they've been getting all of these accolades from people saying how beautiful they are, and you can't tell them nothing. So now they walk around believing exactly what everybody sees them to be every time they walk out their house. wow, she's gorgeous. Oh, wow, he is so handsome. And it sticks to them. It's stuck. They're stuck. This is why you see so many people who have sold out themselves because of the way they look. Satan uses that because that's what caused his downfall. Let's continue to read. Verse 13, you were in Eden, the garden of Alua Alahim. Every precious stone was your covering, the sardis, the topaz, the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, the jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes were prepared for you on the day you were created. This is why we know that Satan understands music very well. This is where we see how the Christians like to say, because we're not told this, but this is what we have been told through tradition. Through tradition, we've been told that Satan was in charge of worship in heaven. We don't see that anywhere in scripture. We're never told that. But this is what has come down the pipe all these centuries that has us believing that Satan was in charge of worship. Okay. Again, we're not told this, but we are told that he was created with instruments in his body. Okay. How does that look? I have no idea. All I know is he's probably the most beautiful being ever created. Okay. But we're not told, again, how these timbrels and pipes are fashioned into his body. Was prepared for you on the day you were created. You were the anointed cherub who covers. I established you. You were on the set apart mountain or kingdom of Yahuah. You walked back and forth in the midst of the fiery stones. Again, that's the other angels that were built like him. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created until iniquity, that is lawlessness, breaking of Yahuwah's law, sin was found in you. By the abundance of your trading, you became filled with violence from within. And you sinned, that is the transgression of the law. Therefore, I cast you as a profane thing out of the mountain of Alua Alahim, and I destroyed you, O covering cherub, from the midst of the fiery stones. So he is no longer able to be before the other angels, the 2/3, that is. Your heart was lifted up because of your what? Your beauty. You see it right there? That's the pride. What does it say? I believe it's in Jacob, or no, it's in First John, Aleph Yohanan. That is the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. This is what causes the downfall of so many people. Satan is the same reason. Because of his beauty, he corrupted his ways. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor. Again, because of the way he looks. He corrupted his wisdom. I cast you to the ground. I laid you before kings that they might gaze at you. Again, this portion has not happened yet. This will happen in the future when we judge him along with the other third of the angels, as we're told in 1 Corinthians, that we will also judge angels. So, extraterrestrial, if you're still here, do you see what I'm talking about this first flood, or the flood that came before Noah? You see, even in this New King James, it doesn't say bohu tohu. It just says the earth was without form and void, making it seem like it was almost like it was just this primordial piece of rock that was floating in space that had just water over it. No. Yahuwah spoke the earth into existence, and he put all the things on the earth as he spoke it. Okay? He spoke it into existence. It didn't have to go through all this like it was generating and growing from this infantile stage until it became, this very complex place called earth. No. Just like we see in the 6 days of creation, he spoke it and it happened. Excuse me, like he said, let there be light, light appeared. He didn't have to slowly make it and mold it and fashion it with his hands. No, same thing with the sun, moon, and the stars. He spoke it. He said, let there be 2 great lights. One light to rule the day, and the other light, the lesser light, to rule the night. He spoke it into existence. Pop, it was right there. It manifested. So yes, there was a flood before Noah's flood. Cody Nazareth, I did eat before I came on the very first time. I am not hungry at this moment, other than for Yahuwah's word. Okay, let's see. What other questions or comments do we have here? Halal Ya'ad. Praise Yah forever. Oh, okay, Aki Manuel. All right. We need to continue to our studies. Mary, what happened? Can you talk about when we judge Shaitan? Well, we know it's going to happen at the judgment, on Judgment Day. So if we go to Revelation, and again, he is going to be laid at our feet. But Revelation chapter 20, it says this. Run JLC. Yes, we'll go over chapter 13 here in a minute of Romaim. So here, let me bring this out. Revelation chapter 20, starting at verse 12. And I saw the dead, small and great, standing before the throne, and books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged from that what was written in the books according to their works. And the sea gave up the dead who were in it, and death and Sheol gave up the dead who were in them, and they were judged each one according to their works. And death and Sheol were thrown into the lake of fire. This is the second death. And if anyone was found written in the book of life, he was not found in the book of life, rather, they were thrown into the lake of fire. Now, here, we're told about when Satan is caught up, okay? And it says here, and the devil, verse 10 of Revelation chapter 20, who led them astray or who deceived the world, was thrown into the lake of fire and sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet are. And they shall be tortured day and night forever and ever. So this right here happens before this great white throne judgment. This seems to be when we judge the angels, along with the devil, who is also an angel. So let me show you where we're getting this from. So 1 Corinthians, and it also says it in one of the apocryphas. I think it was in, I want to say Baruch. But here it says, in chapter 6 of 1 Corinthians, it says this. Now, Shaul was correcting some of the believers, how they were mishandling, how to handle people who were not walking correctly before Yahuah. He says, should any of you holding a matter against another go to be judged before the unrighteous and not before the set apart ones? So he's talking about, should any of you go to a court of the peoples who are not believers to settle a matter between you two? Should you not take it to the assembly? Do you not know that the set apart ones, that's you and me, shall judge the world, that's the non-believers? And if the world is judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Notice what it says here in verse 3. Do you not know that we shall judge the messengers or angels? How much more matters of this life? So we are going to be judging angels as well. So let me show you that in the New King James Version. Give me a second. Let me bring this up out of the New King Jimmy. We're going to go to the same passage in 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Notice what it says. Dare any of you, having a matter against another, go to law before the unrighteous? Let me bring this out just a little bit. Not before the saints? Do you not know that the saints will judge the world? And if the world will be judged by you, are you unworthy to judge the smallest matters? Do you not know that we shall judge angels? How much more the things that pertain to this life? Let me see here. It gives us a cross reference 3a. Let's look at that. 3a, 2 Peter 2:4. Let's go to 2 Bet Kappa, 2 Peter 2:4. 2 Peter 2:4 says this. Let's start from verse 1 since it's only a few verses. But there were also false prophets among the people, even as there will be false teachers among you, who will secretly bring in destructive heresies or destructive doctrines, even denying the master who brought them, and bringing on themselves swift destruction. Verse 2. And many will follow their destructive ways, because of whom the way of truth will be blasphemed, like Christianity. By covetousness, they will exploit you with deceptive words. For a long time, their judgment has not been idle, and their destruction does not slumber. For if Yahuah Elohim did not spare the angels who sinned, but cast them down to Sheol and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved for the day of judgment, and did not spare the ancient world, but saved Noach, one of 8 people, a preacher of righteousness, or that is a preacher of the law, bringing in the flood of the world of the unrighteous, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, and condemning them to destruction, making them an example to those who afterward would live unrighteously. So here we see that it talks about how the angels are being reserved, certain angels are being reserved for the day of judgment. And when they get judged, we are the ones who will be judging them. And we see that when we go to the book of Daniel. Let me take you there. Even though it doesn't give a cross-reference of that, I know the cross-reference in my ruach, in my being. So let me show it to you. Let's go to Daniel. In chapter 7, let's read what I have highlighted in blue underlining here. It says, verse 9, chapter 7, verse 9. Let me blow it up a little bit. I was looking until the thrones were set up. Notice thrones, plural, was set up. And the Ancient of Days was seated. That would be our Messiah, Yahusha, in the flesh. His garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head was like clean wool. Same thing that we read as the same description in Revelation chapter 1. His throne was a flame of fire, its wheels burning fire. A stream of fire was flowing and coming forth from his presence, and 1,000 thousands served him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judge was seated, and the books were open, just like we read in Revelation chapter 20. Now let's go to this passage. Verse 13, same chapter. I was looking in the night visions, and saw one like the son of Anosh, or that is the son of Adam, coming with the clouds of the Shamaim. This is our Messiah. And he came to the Ancient of Days. This will represent our Creator, the Father, which we still know is the same. This is a vision. It's still telling you this is one being, but it's letting us understand through this vision that Daniel was having as if they were 2 separate people, so that we would understand the workings of the ministering of our Abba, the Father, and of the Son, the image, okay? And he came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And to him was given the rulership and the preciousness and a reign, that all peoples, nations, and languages should serve him. His rule is an everlasting rule, which shall not pass away, and his reign that shall not be destroyed. And we continue on. Here's another one. Then the set apart ones of the Most High shall receive the reign, the kingdom, and possess the reign forever, even forever and ever. And then we go down here again. It says, until Ancient of Days came, and right ruling was given to the set apart ones. That's you and me, of the Most High. And the time came that the set apart ones took possession of the kingdom, the reign. Continuing on, verse 26. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away its rule, talking about Satan's rule, to cut it off and to destroy it until the end. And the reign and the rulership and the greatness of the reigns, plural, under all the Shamaim, the heavens, shall be given to the people. That's you and me, the saints, the set apart ones of the Most High. His reign is an everlasting reign, and all rulerships shall serve and obey him. So you see how all of this lines up with what we just read in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, with Revelation chapter 20, and what we're reading here in Daniel chapter 7. We are the ones who shall establish the court in the heavens, because it's been given to us, and it shall be seated and placed upon this earth, where we're going to rule and reign with him forever. This is our home. This earth is our abode. The heavens was created for the angels. That's their home. This is our home. The heavens is their home. Does that mean that we don't go up to heaven? Of course. But this is where we see that Yahuwah's kingdom shall come to the earth. Let his will be done on earth as it is in the Shamaim, in the heavens. They shall become one. No separation. No curtain, if you will. Symbolically speaking, that shall be rolled up and removed. Remember, he says he's going to roll up the heavens like a curtain, like a scroll. Now everything shall become one. Heaven and earth shall become one. And let me see if there's another one that I can share with you guys about this same thing. I think that was it that I can think of. Okay. Let's see what else we have here. Oh, yes. Run JLC. You talked about Romans chapter 13. You wanted me to give some clarification on that. Let's go to Romans chapter 13, or Run JLC. Romans 13. Okay, in this chapter here, boy, I tell you, this is another one of those Christian chapters that Christians have done a mockery of this thing. Let's read this, okay? Verse 1, let every being be in subjection to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from Yahuah Elohim, and the authorities that exist are appointed by Yahuah Elohim. Let's stop right there. You do have some pastors that understands this passage. This is talking about the police force. Okay, this is talking about the governmental structures of the world, be it communist or capitalist or whatever have you, democracy, Republican, or a Democrat, or what am I trying to say? Yeah, democracy or a republic, or if it's theocratic or monotheistic in the sense of them following a monarch like a king or a queen or any of that. They've all been set up by Yahuwah as governing authorities, all right? But now you have some pastors, preachers, and teachers that say that this is them, that they're the authority over the sheep. That's not what Shaul, or who they changed his name to Paul, is stating. Let's continue to read, you'll see. So he who opposes the authority, that is the governing bodies, the rule of that land, withstands the institution of Yahuah Elohim, and those who withstand shall bring judgment on themselves. For those ruling are an object of fear, not to righteous works, but to evil. Do you wish not to be afraid of the authority? Do you wish not to be afraid of the police force and of the governmental bodies? It says, do the righteousness, and you shall have praise from it. For it is a servant of Yahuah Elohim to you for righteousness. But if you do evil, be afraid, for it does not bear the sword in vain. They don't carry the gun in the holster for nothing. They have it to keep peace. Any of you right now, if somebody was to break into your house, you're going to tell me you're not going to call 911? Are you going to be that stupid? Like some people I've heard say, well, anything happens to my house, I'm going to take care of it. I don't need them folks coming up in my house. Are you crazy? That's what it's all about. You take them out, now you're going to be in trouble. Now you're going to be taken away from your family because you decided to take it into your own hands. And now they got a place for you. Now you're separated from your family, and now your family is over there stuck out there. While you're gone, they're going to be around all these wolves. And you being the head wolf, you done left your flock and you're gone. Now your house is wide open to these people. Why would you do that? So let's continue. For it is a servant of Yahuah Elohim to you for righteousness. But if you are doing evil, be afraid, for it does not bear the sword in vain or the weapon in vain. For it is a servant of Yahuah Elohim, a revenger to execute wrath on him who practices evil. Who practices evil. This has nothing to do with your pastor, preacher, teacher, evangelist who is standing up at the pulpit telling you you need to be subjected to me. It's not what this is talking about. But I've heard pastors and preachers actually teach that. That's not what it's saying here. This is talking about the governing bodies of whatever country you live in. Okay. Regardless of what they stand for, the one thing that they all have in common is they want to keep order. They don't want anybody just running into anybody's house, pillaging and raping the family and doing whatever they want by robbing. There's not a single country on this earth that would allow you to do that without some type of repercussion. You know why? Because Yahuah has established whoever it is, whether for righteousness or evil, he's placed them on that seat to rule those people for a reason. Now, how you handle that person and what he does with his power, he's going to have to be judged for that. And you're going to be judged for the way you respond to this person. Let's continue. Therefore, it is necessary to be subject, not only because of wrath, but also because of consciousness. For because of this, you also pay taxes, for they are a servant of Yahuah Elohim, attending continually to these duties. So now, how do they collect these duties of taxes? Be it your property tax, your sales tax, your state tax, your city tax, your road tax, however, whatever taxes. And of course, yes, we've all been taxed to death. Okay. Yeah, they're taking their power a little too far and they're taking too much from the people. But nonetheless, we got to give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. Which takes me to another position here. Remember when the Messiah, he was being tried by these Pharisees and Sadducees, asking him, so are we to pay taxes to Caesar? He said, man, give me a coin. Give me that coin. Whose inscription and image do you see on this coin? Caesar. Well, then you give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and you give to Yahuah what belongs to him. And what does belong to Yahuah? Keeping his commandments, being obedient to his instructions. So who's Caesar? Caesar's of this world. Whose image and inscription do you see in these Christian churches? Caesar Borgia? You're going to give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, including religion? We know that's wrong. You're not to serve nobody but Yahuah himself, but they gave you an inscription and an image, and you are following that. Don't get me started on Christianity, because that'll be a long night. Anyways, let's continue. So render therefore all what is due to them, taxes to whom taxes is due. Again, this is the Apostle Shaul. He's not teaching something contrary to what the Messiah said. He's saying exactly what the Messiah told us to do. He's saying the same thing. So, fear to whom fear is given, respect to whom respect is to be given. This is the problem with a lot of us today. Everyone needs to check themselves. All of us right now in this room. Think about this. Police officer pulls you over, maybe for expired tags or maybe something, whatever it is, he pulls you over. Maybe you accidentally ran a stoplight, whatever it is, he pulls you over. You get to being lippy at the mouth. Is that the way we're supposed to handle ourselves? I'm asking all of you right now, is that the way you're supposed to handle yourself? Are you supposed to go off of him and say stuff that I've been seeing and you've been seeing all on TikTok and all this stuff? This is the mindset that they want us to have, that we want to be lippy so that they can bring out that thunder rod and do something to you. I've seen time and time again, especially of our people, I'm talking about the melanated people, because they have no father figure at their home, so they have no fear of those who we are subjected under, that Yahuah has placed them on. We just read it. He's the one who has instilled that police department. He's the one who put those governing bodies into position. Now, whatever they do with their power and their authority, they're going to be judged for that. But nonetheless, he's placed that there so that we would have some type of communal structure. What is right and what is wrong is wrong. We know not to steal from one another. He's placed that in the hearts of every man, woman, and child. We know we're not supposed to be unaliving each other. He's put that in every one of us. And so when a person with a badge pulls us over, you don't get lippy with them. I don't have to give you my name. What did I do? I have my Fourth Amendment right. I mean, all this stuff. Check the badge, check all this. And no, we don't play their games. Don't get caught up into this mess. That is a trap. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Some of our Akis that take off running, I'm talking about our melanated young brothers, because nobody has told them that that man has the right to shoot you, even though you're running. And what he's doing is illegal by shooting you in the back, but he's going to do it anyways, just like what we're seeing in Minnesota that's happening right now. You want to peacefully protest? There's a way to do that. I am not by any means giving any excuse to what those people did to that man, that nurse over in Minnesota. That was wrong. They literally executed that man in front of everybody. That was wrong. Just like that woman who took off on the cops. Yeah, she shouldn't have took off on the cops, but at the same time, they shouldn't have shot her in the face either. And he did not have no internal body injuries, and he has internal bleeding. That's a lie. They're going to be judged for that. This country and this administration will be judged for that. Yahuah sees all of this. They're not getting away with none of this. They think they are. So I would tell all of you, this is just me. You can do what you want with your mouth, and you can do what you want with your body. But as for me, when I get pulled over, my hands are on that steering wheel, and everything out of my mouth is yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, and I'm giving them what they need. I'm not going to play, what is it they call it, audit the cops and all this other. I'm not doing that. I'm not playing into their scheme. This is what they want from us. That is called rebellion. You are to look at that person as if that is an angel. You hear what I'm saying? That is one of Yahuwah's people that he has brought there to make sure that you stand in line. You did something to break the law, then you need to pay for what you did. If that means a ticket, you're going to pay the ticket. If that means you got to go to jail, you're going to go to jail, and you're not getting out until you pay the last mite. That's what he said. This is his words, not mine. We might not like how they're dealing with us. Just like some of these police officers, they take their badge a little too far. Most of them have probably been bullied when they was little, and now they got the gun and the badge. Now they want to bully us. Yahuwah is going to deal with that. You disarm them by being righteous. You don't go at them head to head. This is not talking scripture to the cop. But a lot of us have lost our way when it comes to the authorities that are around us. Do you not understand that Yahuwah looks at any kind of rebellion as a rebellion of what he has instituted for us to follow? This is why you see Paul and Peter always say, honor the king, love the brethren. Why do they say that all throughout their letters? Honor the king, love the brethren. That's saying we are to honor President Bush. President Bush, President Trump. I know that man isn't the best man in the world. Yahuwah sees that, but it's what he represents as the head of this country. That representation of the head, that's what Satan does. Satan goes against the head structure. And if we're doing what Satan is doing, we're causing confusion and we're causing commotion, and we're not supposed to do that. And so we have to be careful how we conduct ourselves with the ruling authorities, no matter what country you live in. And so it says here in verse 8, owe no one any matter except to love one another, for he who loves another has fulfilled the law. Again, Shaul is teaching the law. He's not saying that the law is done away. If the law was done away with according to Shaul's understanding, he wouldn't have said this. He wouldn't have said that. And then he goes on and tells you this is the law. This is the commandments right here. You shall not commit adultery. That's the seventh commandment. You shall not murder. That's the sixth commandment. You shall not steal. That's the eighth commandment. You shall not bear false witness. That's the ninth commandment. You shall not covet. That's the 10th commandment. And if there's any other command, it is all summed up in this. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. Leviticus 19:18. Same thing the Messiah said. Same thing he's teaching. What did Shaul say? Imitate me, for I imitate the Mashiach. But people want to twist it up and say, Paul was not, he's teaching some other gospel. You go ahead and keep lying to yourself. You go ahead and twist these letters of Paul to your own destruction and your own demise, because it's coming. It's coming. And there's a lot of people who are sowing discord amongst the brethren because of Paul's letters. And they have no idea what is waiting for them, because they all want to be preachers and teachers and think that they done found some kind of new information. And now they're going to come and tell everybody, Paul's a false apostle. Don't follow his teachings. Remove all his letters, because this is what the Catholic Church is using. Okay, well, Satan is using the whole Bible against us. Should we just throw away the whole Bible because Satan is quoting it? He quoted to our Messiah. This is the ridiculousness of what's going on in Christianity today. Verse 10, love does not evil to the neighbor. Therefore, love is the completion of the Torah. And do this knowing the time that it is already the hour for us to wake up from our sleep. For now our salvation, our deliverance is nearer than when we first did believe. That's so true for us right now with everything that's going on in this world. Things are coming to a head. Since we came into this truth, how things are changing at a rapid pace. We're getting closer to the day. As every second ticks by, we're getting closer to the day when Yahushua shall be revealed from the heavens. Matthew Menard, that's why you got the book. That's why you got the boot, because you don't understand. People want to come in here and they don't even want to listen. They want to spew at the mouth the Satan doctrine of Christianity, that the law has been done away with. Let's continue. Verse 12. The night is far advanced, the day has come near. So let us put off the works of darkness. Notice that. Let us put off the works of darkness, not the works of the law. Shaul is saying, he's not telling you to put away the works of the law. No, he's telling you to still do the law, but do away with the works of darkness. Let us put on the armor of light. Let us walk becomingly as in the day, not in wild parties and drunkenness, and not in living together in indecencies, and not in fighting and envy, but put on the Master Yahushua the Mashiach, and make no provisions for the lust of the flesh. What is the lust of the flesh? That is contrary to the Torah. Shaul is teaching the Torah. As I like to say, people would love to say the law has been done away with, and Paul taught that the law was done away with, but we can go right here in the same book of Romans, and I can show you places after places where he's saying no, like this. Romans chapter 3, verse 31. Do we then nullify the Torah? That means to void out or abolish the Torah through our faith? Let it not be. On the contrary, just the opposite, Christians. We established the Torah. We established the law. Let's go to Romans chapter 7. And I don't have to go through all of this, but I just want to show you a few passages about how the Torah is clean. Notice this right here. Verse 7. Romans 7:7. Let me blow it up a little bit so you guys can see this together with me. What then shall we say? Is the Torah, the law, sin? Ooh, man, we need to ask that to all the Christians in the room right now. Is the law sin? Is the law sin? According to Christians, it is. Anybody who's following the law, you're committing sin. How can we be committing sin when sin is defined by breaking the law? Sin is the transgression of the law. The word sin just doesn't appear by itself. You don't get to say what sin is. Yahuah tells you what sin is. And Yahuah says sin is the breaking or the transgressing of his law. That's what sin is. That's the definition of sin. So if you're not keeping the law, you are living in sin, Christians. If you're not keeping and living by the law, you are living in sin. You are living in the flesh, but yet you think you're walking in the spirit, huh? You think you born again, don't you? But you're not. Let's continue. Again, what then shall we say? Is the law sin? Let it not be. However, I did not know sin except through the law, through the Torah. For also the covetousness I knew not, if the Torah had not said, you shall not covet. Again, he's letting you know what the definition of sin is. You wouldn't know what sin is unless the law was there that was present. But sin, having taken an occasion through the commandment, did work in me all sorts of covetousness. For apart from the law, sin is dead, meaning without the law, there is no sin. You can't say that you broke the law and say someone has sinned if they don't have a law to show themselves, to measure their actions by, to say, yep, you're right, I did commit sin, because it says it right there in the law that I did something that was against Yahuah. That means that I committed sin. But if there is no sin, like Cain unaliving his brother Abel, he can't be held accountable to breaking Yahuwah's law. That law had already pre-existed before Cain even came to be. You shall not unalive somebody, you shall not murder. That pre-existed before Cain was born. It just wasn't revealed yet by the hands of Moses. But once the law has been revealed, now you have something that you have to line yourself up with. Let's continue. Again, verse 8, but sin, having taken occasion through the commandment, did work in me all sorts of covetousness. For apart from the Torah, sin is dead. Sin is dead, meaning that it has no function. If there's no law, there is no sin. So he says, and I was alive apart from the law, meaning once he didn't know the law back in the day, he was free to do whatever he wanted because he didn't know anything about any ramifications or repercussions for not keeping the Torah. He said, but when the commandment came, meaning that when he understood the commandment, when the Torah was revealed to him, sin revived in me and I died. I realized, oh my gosh, I'm a sinner and I am literally the walking dead right now. I'm a dead man walking. Verse 10, and the commandment which was to result in life, this I found to result in death. Exactly, because all you had to do is break the commandment one time, death penalty. It don't matter how you live your life, how much you keep it clean. All it matters is that somewhere in your life, one time is all it takes. Just one time. You sin one time, you are now a transgressor of the law. That's what he's saying here. This I found to result in death. Verse 11. For sin, that is the transgression of the law, having taken an occasion through the commandment, deceived me. And through it, it unalived me. How did the law deceive us? Think about that. How did the law that we thought was to bring us to life deceived us? Because we realized we couldn't keep the law. We couldn't keep the law to have everlasting life. Nobody can except for one being, and that was the Creator himself in the flesh. Everyone else falls short of the esteem of Yahuah. We all fall short. So it goes on and says in verse 12, so that the Torah truly is set apart. Notice that, Christians. The law truly is set apart. Let me read that in the King James for you. Because, see, some of you don't truly understand what it means to be set apart, which is Kadash. Let's read this in King Jimmy. Let's go to Romans chapter 7. Romans 7. Let's pick this up. Let's start at verse 11 again. For sin, taking occasion by the commandment, deceived me, and by it slew me or unalived me. Now, notice what verse 12 says, Christians. Wherefore, the law is what? Is it unholy? Is it unpure? Is it unclean? No, it's clean, it's pure. And the commandment is clean and pure and just and righteous. This is all what the law is. But you Christians say, no, the law is wrong. The law, you're not supposed to do it at all. Don't even look at the law. Remove it from your mind. Walk in this newness of life and being free. We're free in the Son. Whoever the Son has set free, we're free indeed. Free from what? You don't understand what we're being freed from. We're being freed from the penalty. We're being freed from the curse of the law, which is the death penalty. For breaking the law, the penalty is death. For the wages of sin is death. Romans chapter 6, verse 23. This is how they twist doctrine on you when you go to these so-called Sunday schools. Verse 13. Was then that which is righteous made death unto me? Yahuah forbid. But sin, the transgression of the law, that it might appear to be transgression of the law, was working death in me by which was righteous. That sin, which is again breaking of the law, by the commandment might become exceedingly sinful. For we know that the law is what? Spiritual. It's not unspiritual. The law is not evil. The law is spiritual. But I am carnal. I am fleshly. Sold under what? Sin. Sold under the transgression of the law. Which are we sold under? The death penalty. For that which I do, I allow not, or I don't do right. For what I do, that I do not. But what I hate, that's what I keep doing. How many of you can relate to this? The things I want to do, I'm not doing. The things that I don't want to do, that's what I keep doing. Why do I keep going around in this circle doing what I know Yahuah doesn't like me to do? How do I get out of this craziness? So then it says here, if then I do, or I'm doing that which I don't want to do, then I consent that the law is what? What is the law? It's unrighteous, huh? Is that what I'm reading here? That the law is unrighteous? That the law is evil? No, the law is pure. The law is clean. The law is righteous. Now then, verse 17, it is no more I that do it, but sin. This is the fleshly, the carnal man that is dwelling in me that causes me to think this way. You remember, you don't have to physically do the act of sin. It's just a thought. That's what Shaul is saying right here. He's not physically doing sin. He's thinking sin. You're thinking sin. I'm thinking sin. We can't help it. We live in a world where we see women half naked. We see men half naked. We see drugs. We see all kinds of paraphernalia, all this stuff, just that moment. It comes into your mind and you're like, oh my. Renew your mind. Bring every thought into captivity. That's all it takes. Look at a woman. You committed adultery by looking at her with lust in your eyes. You can look at a woman without lusting after her, trying to undress her with your eyes like you got x-ray vision. That's sin. That's transgressing of the law, the seventh commandment. You just committed adultery in your mind, just like the Messiah says in Matthew chapter 5. So let's continue. For I know that what is in me, that is my flesh, dwells no righteous thing. For what I want to do, it's present in me. But how to perform it, that which is righteous, I can't seem to find in me to do it. This is what Shaul is saying. For the righteous thing that I want to do, I do not. But the evil that I don't want to do, that's what I keep doing. That's what I keep doing. Man, I'm so sick of myself. Why do I keep thinking like this? Why do I keep thinking that way and thinking this way and thinking that way? Verse 20. Now, if I do that what I don't want to do, it is no more that I am doing it, but the sin that is dwelling in me that's causing me to do it. It's not talking about going over there and I'm just being blunt, like us men. It's not saying going over there into your room and you're over here choking the snake. No, this is an act that is happening in your mind. You shouldn't be doing that at all, manifesting in the flesh. If you're doing it, manifesting in the flesh, you're living in sin. If it's in your brain and you're still trying to get a control of it, that, my friend, is someone who's practicing the truth and they're trying to renew their mind. So let's listen to this part, Christians, because many of you do not delight in the Torah. Notice what it says here. I find then this law, that when I would to do right, evil is present with me, for I delight. Let me say that one more time. I delight in the law, the Torah of Yahuah Elohim after the inward man. But I see another law in my members. This isn't the actual Torah that we're talking about that's up here. This is a whole different type of law that's warring against our mind. See, there it is right there. It's in the mind. Sin begins in the mind. Transgressing the law begins in your mind. Not with your hand, not smacking your tallywhacker, not going and stealing something from one of the stores, not from unaliving somebody with a thunder rod. No, all of that starts in the mind. Oh, wretched man that I am. Who shall deliver me? Who shall save me from this body of wickedness, this death that I am in? To the Atah Abba Yahuah through Yahushua HaMashiach, our master. So then with the mind I myself serve what? The Torah. Wow, man, let me stop. I'm so sick of us talking about how the law has been done away with. The law has not been done away with, Christians. The law is still enacted. Heaven and earth must pass away first before the law is done away with. And we know that the earth is forever, which means his law is forever. His words are established in the heavens forever. It says that in the book. Yahuwah says King David, King Dawood, is a man after my own heart. Read Psalms 119. He says the same thing that Shaul is saying here, how he delights in the law of Yahuwah, just like it says right here. Verse 22, for I delight in the law of Yahuwah. Let me show you that in Psalms 119. Again, the law has not been done away with. You've been told the law has been done away with, but it's not been done away. I'm showing you in the New Testament, Paul saying over and over again, the law, we established the law. We don't nullify the law. We don't void the law out. We don't say that it's been abolished, but that's what Christianity is teaching. Where do you think that doctrine came from? It came from Satan, and Satan gave it to the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church gave it to the Protestants, and all these denominations are teaching and preaching this crap. Let me show you here. Verse 47. 119, verse 47. And I will delight myself in your commandments, which I have loved. How many of you Christians can say that? How many of you Christians can say you love Yahuwah's laws? You can't. You know why? Because you've been taught to hate it. You've been taught to look away from it. But here it is. I will delight myself in your commandments, which I have loved. My hands also will I lift up unto your commandments, which I have loved, and I will meditate in your statutes. Nope, not the Christians. They're not going to meditate on that. What they're going to meditate on is, I think I'm going to have pork tonight for food. Yeah, I think I'm going to have me some baby back ribs. You know what? No, I think I want to go to Red Lobster. Yeah, I want me one of them big old, them big old crawdads that they call lobsters, with that big old tail. You know what I mean? The so-called crustacean of the cockroaches of the sea. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do, because you know what? I don't love the law of Yahuah. We've been freed from that law. The Son has set me free. I can eat whatever I want. Nobody can tell me and try to put chains on me for this liberty that I have in the so-called JC. Nah, you can't do that to me. What you say? I can't work on Saturday? Watch me. I'm working. They don't even know the true Sabbath, but they just gonna stay away from the Sabbath altogether. You say that Sabbath is on Saturday? I'm staying away from it. I'm working on Saturday. Watch this. I'm getting my money. Yep, I sure am. This is the kind of Christianity that's being taught all over this world. That is not of Yahuah. That is not of the Messiah. That is not even what Paul was teaching. I showed you what Paul's saying. You show these same passages to your pastor and watch them how they're going to jump over these loops and jump over these obstacles and tell you it's not talking about the law of the Old Testament. No, Paul's talking about, when JC came here, he told us just to love our neighbor as ourselves. That's all. Not understanding that it's all been summarized in loving your neighbor as yourself. Those 6 commandments that say you're supposed to love your neighbor, it's all right there in the 10 commandments of the 6 of the 10. And the first 4 is how you love Yahuah with all of your heart, mind, body, strength, and soul. It's just been summarized into 2 in Matthew chapter 22. Upon these 2 hangs all the law and the prophets. That's Genesis to Malachi. All right. I think we beat up on the extions enough today. If you are an extion, you need to come out of it. You need to come out of it. I'm going to tell you why. Because if you read Revelation chapter 13 and 14, you're going to find out that Christianity is the beast system. You're going to find out JC is the beast. You're going to find out the name Jesus is the name of the beast. You're going to find out that the image of the beast is the cross with the image, who they call the Messiah, who they call the Christ, is hanging on this wooden beam. This is all right there in front of you. You don't have to accept it. You can continue to close your eyes and plug your ears, and you're waiting for some anti-Messiah to show up who's going to say, I'm the Antichrist. Worship me. No. You see, the deception has already been working almost 2,000 years now. Since the Messiah left, they've been trying to get the world to believe in a different Messiah. Not the Hebrew Messiah, but the Greek Messiah. Not the melanated Messiah, but the pale Messiah, the Caucasian Messiah. Not the Hebrew name Messiah, but the Greek name Messiah. Not the Hebrew Messiah that told you to keep the commandments. No, they're giving you the Greek Messiah that says you don't have to keep the commandments anymore. Do you not see the dichotomy of what is happening with Christianity and the truth? This is why the resurgence of Christianity in this United States of America is at an all-time high, because they done unalived one of their own whose eyes were slowly starting to wake up to the Sabbath. And they took this Charlie Kirk dude out because he was slowly realizing that the Jewish people are not the true Jews. They are imposters. Now, not all the Jewish people know that they are not the people of the Jews or the people of the book. Some of them are coming out, like our Cody Shoshana here. She's Jewish by blood. She doesn't have their heart condition. Her eyes have been opened by our Abba Yahuah. He chose Shoshana to bring her out of her people, her own DNA of people who don't know this truth. There she is right there. Yep. Shoshana even tries to tell her own people to read this passage right here. And they say, oh, no, we're not going to read this passage. You know why? Because they know who it's talking about. Who's this in Isaiah chapter 53? Is it not talking about our Messiah? In fact, the whole book of Isaiah is talking about our Messiah, Yahusha. The whole entire book. Shoshana, you missed that we was talking about you, Akodi. I'm just joking. No, we're actually talking about Christianity. But yeah, this is a passage that these Jewish people will not touch because they know it's talking about the Messiah all day long. All day long. They don't like to read Psalms chapter 22 because it's talking about exactly how he was going to be unalived on our behalf on the tree. They don't like to hear this truth. Christians and Judaism, they don't like to hear the truth. Islam, they don't like to hear the truth. All three of those so-called faiths of Abraham don't have the faith of Abraham. It's just what they say. But they're not of Abraham. Because if they were of Abraham, they would be his seed. Not those who come from Abraham's loins are the seed of Abraham. It's those who believe as Abraham believed. It's those who obeyed as Abraham obeyed. These are accounted as Abraham's seed. These are called the sons of Allah Elohim. So we're coming into the last hour for today. Let me see if there's any other questions or comments of what is being shared today. Any other questions or comments? I see someone's talking about Proverbs chapter 3:9. Let's go there. Proverbs 3:9. Okay, Mr. Kane. To the top of that, Aki Manuel. Esteem Yahuwah with your things, your pleasantries, and with the first fruits of all your increase. Then your storehouses shall be filled with plenty, and your vats overflow with new wine. Oh, it's time to give. It's time to give. It's time to give. Yeah, bring out your pocketbooks. Yeah, bring out your purses. Oh, come on now. Give me all that money you got. Give me all. Give me that penny. Give me that penny. Give it to me. Give it to me. Money cometh forth. Is that what we're talking about? Is that what we're talking about? All this fake tithing and offering that they want you to give to these pagan churches, these pagan assemblies that are nothing but the houses of Babylon? Wow. Let's go here. In fact, I want to read this out of the New King Jimmy. Let's read this. Let's see what it says about this tithingness, okay? I told this to my uncle, who's a deacon at an African American church, and boy, I'm gonna tell you, that man about lost it. I said, Uncle, you want to keep on giving your money to build up these so-called churches? You're doing the wrong thing. You're doing the wrong thing. We all been doing this wrong thing. This is in Matthew chapter 17, starting at verse 24. Let me blow this up a little bit more so you guys can see this with me. Oh, that's a little too big. Let's bring it on down. All right. 17:24. When they had come to Capernaum, those who received the temple tax, this would also be known as a tithe, they came to Peter and said, does your teacher not pay the temple tax or the temple tithes? Kappa, Peter, answered and said, yes. And so then it goes on here and says this. And when he, Peter, had come into the house, Yahusha anticipated him. He already foreknew what just happened. And so he said to Kappa, what do you think, Simon? From who do the kings of the earth take customs or taxes or tithes, from their sons or from the strangers, the foreigners? Kappa said to him, to the Messiah, from strangers. So then Yahusha said to him, then the sons are free. Nevertheless, Kappa, lest we offend them because you opened your big mouth, Kappa, go to the sea and cast in a hook and take the fish that comes out up first. And when you have opened its mouth, you will find a piece of money and take that and give it to them for me and you. Why? Because you opened up your big mouth, Kappa, and you said that I'm going to pay it. But you know what? We free. We don't pay into the kingdom. We are the kingdom. We the children of the kingdom. Read Revelation. Read the book of Daniel. The kingdom is going to be given to us. How are we going to pay into something that belongs to us? We're not the foreigners. We're not the strangers. We are the children. I think that's all that needs to be said about tithing. You okay, Onyx? Come here, boy. You okay? Come here. Yeah. What you got in your throat? You got a little piece of your sister's hair in your throat? Hmm? Huh? Okay, what else we got? What's up, Sheba? Huh? What's up, baby girl? Yes. What else we got? What else we got? Anyone else has any questions or comments? Yahuah Z71, you said Adam and Yahuah would do bread offerings 3 times a week until their end of time. Should he also do offerings 3 times a week as well? First Adam, Yahuah 68:20. So again, let me just say this about the book, the first and second, and I think there's even a third book of Adam and Eve. Okay. This is not from Yahuah. I know it's in some of our books. I know some of you think just because it's behind the bindings of 2 covers that this must be from Yah. It is not from Yah. This is what we call a pseudographa. It's a false pen of the scribes. Okay. It's got some truth in it, but it's got a lot of fairy tale in it too. Adam was not going around killing himself over and over again, committing suicide. And here it is. Eve is over here crying, please, I don't want to live because my husband done died. Now, as far as giving to Yahuah, what we're supposed to give of him is the fruit of our lips. That's our offering. Let me show you. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 15. Through him, then, let us continually Offer up a slaughter offering to praise to Alua Elohim. That is the fruit of our lips, giving thanks to his name. This is what we do 3 times a day. Sunrise, high noon, not your 12 o'clock on your watch, not 12 o'clock on your phone or your laptop, 12 o'clock by the sun. High noon by the sun. And when the sun goes down in the evening, you pull again, you pray again. This is how you give your offering 3 times a day. But as far as sacrifices and offering, that's been all done away with. That's what the Messiah changed. He became that sacrifice. He took the place of the blood of lambs, bulls, and goats. Again, just because you read something in a book, even like Sirach, okay, Ecclesiasticus, that book has been tainted. It's been tainted because it was Hellenized. What does it mean to be Hellenized? These are Greek-speaking Jews. Sirach was one of them. The Greek language is full. It's like English. It's full of all these pagan words. Okay? You have to rightly divide the word of truth. It has to line up with what we know as Genesis to Malachi. Everything must be validated through Genesis to Malachi. If it don't line up with it in any statute or any way, form, or anything of, or even of substance, don't hold on to it. People be reading stuff and they say, oh, well, this has got to be true. It's just like the gospel of Mary Magdalene. That's a Gnostic gospel. But some people believe that it's true. It is not true. It goes against the word. It goes against Genesis to Malachi. You think the Messiah is going to come down here and literally marry physically one of his followers? Do you think of the Messiah that small and insignificant that he would be tempted as us men to want to have a sexual relations with a woman of flesh? He can make himself a woman up in the heavens, and that woman would be his wife forever. Oh, I forgot. He already did. It's called the assembly. Forgot about that. We're the bride. We're his wife. It's not Mary Magdalene. All right. Let's see what else we got here. Any other questions or comments? How many times do we pray? Or do I just answered that. These take the set apart girly. We pray 3 times a day. At the crack of dawn in the morning, what we call the Bukor. At noon, when the sun is at its highest zenith in the sky. And when the sun goes down below the horizon is the 3rd time that you pull all. Kri Amat means true or truth. Because Trinita is a work of fiction. The book of Adam and Yahuah is a work of fiction. As it says in Hebrews chapter 9, verse 27, it is appointed for man to die once. Once. Then comes judgment. You don't keep unaliving yourself, and you don't find that anywhere in Genesis to Malachi about Adam doing that to himself. The only place you find that is in this fairy tale book called Adam and Eve. Del C, yes, Del C, that is true. But however, it is not for the remission of sin. That can only happen by the blood of the Messiah. That's what his whole purpose of accomplishing was. Okay. Anytime there is sin, blood must be shed. That's from the garden all the way into the last day when Yahuah puts everything back in order. Del C, again, where there is no blood, if there is no blood, you cannot clean. You must not be a believer of the Messiah, Dale. You must be a Torah only. Are you Torah only, Dale? Oh yeah, you are Torah only with your yin and yang and triangle. You all about Satan. Aki Chris, you say, Aki Jimmy, you get this question every Shabbat, but I was wondering if you could please rerun the lesson for us that want to hear it again. Tuda in advance. 6 a.m. here we come. What's the question? I don't know what the question is, Aki Chrissy Yahoo. Dale, you didn't answer the question. Are you Torah observant only? I know you are, Aki Chris. Miss you, Ak. Miss you, Ak. Waiting for you, Dale. Are you Torah observant only, Dale? Yes, the set apart. Exactly. Yep, so you are Torah observant, Dale C. So Dale C says, I'm not into paganism. Symbolically drinking human blood is a pagan ritual for one. Human blood was never used as a sin atonement. Dale, once again, you seem to have a problem with the truth. Your problem is not with me. Your problem is with your creator. Cody Jackie, again, is right before the sun comes up, when the sun is at its highest point in the day, and also when the sun goes down during the evening. Dale, you're speaking to an Asian who has it on their Korean flag, which is a yin and yang. I think I might know a little bit something about the yin and yang. It is very pagan, my friend, and you're over saying that you have nothing to do with paganism, and yet you have a pagan triangle and a pagan yin and yang as your avatar. You might want to go find some other room to talk your nonsense. Moderators, if Dale says another word, I don't care if it's letter A or number 1, remove this man. Because he ain't here to try to learn anything. Told you, Dale, you didn't want to listen. I know when I'm asking what we should pull off for. Oh, well, kind of like what the Mashiach said, what we read here, what a lot of people call the LORD's prayer. That's a very nice thing to pull off during that time. As it says here in Matityahu chapter 6, this then, verse 9, is the way you should palal. Our Abba, who is in the Shamaim, let your name, your Sham, be Kadash. Let your reign come. Let your desire be done on the Arats as it is in the Shama. Give us today our daily lakam, or to say bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And do not lead us into trials, or that is temptations, but deliver us from the wicked one, or the evil one, because yours is the reign, the power, and the esteem forever. Amat. Aki Pat, you silly. Yahusha walks with me. You say, so is it fair to say that if one is more worried about the rules and laws above understanding and following Yahuah, that they're actually supporting the devil? I don't know if that's the way I would put it. Worried about the rules and laws? I don't know what you mean by worried about the rules and laws above understanding. Not quite sure if I'm following your thought process there. If you could clarify that a little bit, maybe I'll be able to answer it a little better. The set apart girly, is Genesis to Malachi more trustworthy than the other scriptures? Yes, it is. Reason being is because everything points back. Everything, what you call and what I call the New Testament, in the New Testament, it refers to the Old Testament as the scriptures. New Testament is not scripture. I know that's what we might call it today, but actual scripture that was given to us by Yahuah by the hand and the mouth of the prophets is Genesis to Malachi. Let's see. Yahusha walks with me. Satan rebelled and did not want to follow rules. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Aki Bob Baldwin. Great to see you here, Aki. From San Antonio, TAX. Let's see. I have been wondering about Yehuda and scripture backing his judgment after he hung himself. I have been wondering about Yehuda and scripture. Well, so Nicole, we know I'm trying to make sense of what you have here as a question, Nicole G787. You said you've been wondering about Yehuda, who people know as Judas, backing his judgment after he hung himself. Yeah, so he has been lost. He's committed the wrong thing. We don't get the chance. We don't have the choice to take ourselves out of a situation. Anybody who does that does not love himself or herself. And we're supposed to love ourselves. Just like he says, love your enemy, or excuse me, love your neighbor as yourself. Okay? But if you don't love yourself, I guess you don't love others either, and hence why you would take yourself out of the equation. You didn't have a choice coming into this world, and you shouldn't have a choice taking yourself out. And this is why the Messiah says, out of all that has been given to him, he lost one, and he was talking about Yehuda from Iscariot. Daniel, no, because again, he's not on the original calendar. I mean, that would be no different than going over to somebody who's a Christian and telling them to immerse you because they even though they don't know the name, but they read the Bible. That doesn't make any sense. It's the same thing with the calendar. If they're going to say that Shabbat is a different day and you know the true Shabbat, you know the true Shabbat, you have to be immersed with somebody who understands the truth. Little Barbie, you say you live in a Christian house. My grandparents cook on Shabbat. Am I to stay away from the food they cook and have my meal prepared the day before? Hopefully, it's not a dumb question to ask. That is not dumb at all, Lily. And I would do exactly what you just said. I would make it a point. Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, I respect your home, but I ask that you allow me to not eat from what you cook on a day that I'm not supposed to eat. If that is okay with you. If not, I'm just not going to eat on that day. I will put me something aside and I will eat that on the day tomorrow, which would be like today, Shabbat. You have the power to control that situation. Zuggy, you said come back to Atlantic City for immersions. Yeah, that might not be happening for a little while. My mom lives in Atlantic City, actually. She lives in, where is it that she lives over there? Is it Absecon or Pleasantville? I can't remember. But it is pretty much all Atlantic City. I mean, Atlantic City is only like, what, 3-4 blocks wide and maybe about 5-6 miles long. Let's see. You're very welcome, Lily Barbie. Mary Yahoo Lynn. Samson took himself out. My dad took out my mom and brother, then himself. Samson case, is he also condemned? So when you go back and you read what happened to Samson, yes, Samson disobeyed Yahuah. He disobeyed Yahuah in a few ways. Also, when he was chained up, or I should say, he was bound to 2 pillars. Remember when his hair was cut, excuse me, Yahuah took his ruach from him. So he didn't have the strength that he had before. Samson was not a muscle-bound man. In fact, Samson was probably a very skinny dude. This is why the other men looked at him and was like, where are you getting your strength from? Because they were looking at his frame like it is definitely not coming from the frame. And so they was trying to figure out where his strength come from. But his strength came from Yahuah. It was by the ruach. These Philistines wanted to take him out. So they had him, they were going to kill him already as it was. But he had asked Yahuah, grant me the opportunity to take out more Philistine at my death than when I was alive. And it says that the ruach came upon Samson. If the ruach is in you, you are not committing suicide. Okay? The ruach is working through you. Yes? So if he's working through you, you're not committing suicide. Without the power of Yahuah, there was no way he could take those pillars off of their foundation. So what am I getting at is what the scripture is actually saying is that Yahuah was the one who took him out and took out those Philistines. Yahuah is the giver of life and he can take it away. So Samson did not commit suicide. The only other person that I know of in scripture that literally committed suicide was King Saul. He fell on his own sword. Yes, you got that right, Nazareth. It's no different. Nazareth, you know. Now check this out. You know our African American brothers, right? They're Israelites. Yeah. They loves them some women. Let me just say that. I believe that's why I am what I am, you know. My dad went overseas and he loved him a foreign woman who happened to be Korean, which is my mom. And 9 months later, I popped out. Run JLC, that I couldn't give you just some specific scriptures because they all go hand in hand. Literally, you just follow what Yahusha tells us to do. We are to walk as he walked. That's about as easy as I can put it. We're to walk as he walked. Yes, a lot of foreign women, usually, most of the time, almost every time, believe in something else than the truth. Like when my dad met my mom, she was a Buddhist. And my dad was not a practicing Exton. Okay, so we got about a little over 30 minutes left. A little under 30 minutes, I should say. At the top of the hour, we will be done for this week of Shabbat studies. And again, I will be coming back on early tomorrow for those of you who are wanting to be a part of the Pesach, the Passover celebration that we're going to have in Phoenix, Arizona, specifically Avondale, Arizona, which is a suburb of Phoenix. And we're going to have a pretty nice sized group of people. This will be the largest one that we've had. And we got people coming from overseas, like our Aki Andy Jepson. I don't know if our Aki Andy Jepson is here. Aki Andy, are you here today? Shane Brown, you say you want to know about the truth of today's generation about the Sabbath. So, again, as far as that goes, Shane, um, yes, Chanel, you're more than welcome to come. Please get with me before and may I say this real quick before I talk to what Shane is talking about here. Um, please get with us so you can make it. We only have a couple of spots left. That's what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow. Because we're getting 3 Airbnbs, we're going to have a few beds that have come to be open. And so we're going to want to fill those up as well for those who want to come. But again, we'll talk about that tomorrow. Jackie, is going to be 12 o'clock your time, 12 o'clock New York time. Yes, it's going to be Yappa. So, okay, so let me get back to what, let me see here. I forget the person's name. Was it Simon? No, not Simon. Yes, Simon. Depending on where you live, where do you live at, Simon? I can tell you exactly what time. Oh, Shane. That's who was Shane. You wanted to know about the truth about the Shabbat. Okay, so Shabbat, Shane, does not follow this Greco-Roman calendar that we've all been following, okay? This Gregorian calendar, that is not the calendar that we're supposed to be following to find our Sabbath. That was not given to us by Yahuah. That has been given to us by Satan through the institution of the Catholic Church, which then gave it to humanity. The whole world is following the Roman Catholic calendar. That is the fourth beast of Daniel chapter 7, okay? The true Sabbath right now is happening today as I'm speaking to you. Sabbath ends when the sun comes up from your location, wherever that may be. Now, the Sabbath isn't always going to be on the same pagan day. That's where the confusion happens for people who are stuck with the mindset of this Roman calendar system that we're all in. Yahuwah's calendar moves with the sun. Okay? There's no such thing as time without movement. Time only exists because of space. And I'm not talking about outer space. I'm talking about space as in geographical movement from point A to point B. All right? It takes time to go from point A to point B. That's time. Same thing with the calendar. The calendar moves with the sun. As the sun moves across the sky, it's also showing us time. Now, once you understand the movement of the sun, now you can understand when the Sabbath is. Because the Sabbath is in correlation to the movement of the sun. When the sun hits a certain particular time of a week that has been pegged by the spring equinox, that happens once a year, you would then find after the spring equinox, 3 days later, 3 days later after the spring equinox is your first Sabbath of the year. That could fall on a Sunday, like it did this year. It could fall on a Monday, like it's going to happen next year. It can fall on a Thursday, the years after that. But you don't put your eyes on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's the problem when people are trying to figure out when is the true Sabbath. This was a prophecy that we were going to lose it because we went off of Yahuwah's true calendar, and we have instituted and adopted the calendars of the pagans around us. Now in these last days, Yahuwah is restoring the true calendar so we can once again find the true day of the Sabbath, and we can also find the true days of all of our days of the appointed times that has been mentioned in Leviticus chapter 23, which are the 7 appointed times. But you wouldn't know that unless you understand the book of Jubilees, the book of Enoch, and parchments of the Dead Sea Scroll. Without those three things, even us, we would not have been able to find the true Shabbat day. But thanks be to Abba Yahuwah that he has restored it unto his people to guide us and to lead us by his Ruach. Not like if it was some kind of verbal voice in my head that said, you need to read the book of Jubilees, you need to read the book of Enoch, and you need to read the parchments of the Dead Sea Scrolls. No, it just happens because we are looking into these matters, and Yahuwah knows those who are going to look into these matters. This is why he says, when you seek me with all of your heart and with all of your mind and with all of your being, then I shall be found. And that's what's happening right now in these last days. Simon, I am going to be on TikTok in the morning. Eastern Standard Time, Gina, I will be on at 12 o'clock noon tomorrow. Yes, for those of you who aren't able to spend time with us, it's okay. Hopefully, Abba Yahuwah will allow us to have some other times to come together. But if not, no fret. When his kingdom comes, we're all going to be doing it together, and we're all going to know we're doing it the right way. User C5H, when is the Feast of Passover this year? It will be the evening of April 2nd on the pagan calendar. Okay, Cody Stella, are you getting ready to head out? If so, Yahuwah barak you and keep you, and may he continue to allow the countenance of his light to shine on you, Cody. Shane, you're very welcome. Rowena Gutierrez, let me just say this. Let me say it again. I will be on TikTok tomorrow, depending on your time zone. Here on the West Coast, it will be 9 o'clock in the morning. Mountain Time, 10 o'clock. Central Time, 11 o'clock. Eastern Time, 12 o'clock. You're going to get me for messing up your name. I'm so sorry because I keep saying Shimon, huh? Simone. Let me say it right. Simone, not Shamon. I apologize to Cody. You know I have nothing but love for you. Okay, Cody Chanel, Shabbat Shalom. Get you some great rest. Gadul rest. Gadul Shabbat. You saying it like Michael. I know, that's what I be doing, Agiel. Because I be thinking about that song. Shamona, Shamon, Shamon. So I be saying it that way. I can't help it. I got influenced by Michael Jackson. You can work on Passover. You cannot work on the first and last day of unleavened bread. Run JLC. Yes. I need to get with you, all Torah of all time, 247. And make sure that you have. I know that you guys are talking about coming, so I'm going to make sure to keep that space available for you and those that are coming with you from Kansas. Oh, yes, I know you, the folks from Kansas. I can't wait to meet all of you. Is Dustin coming with you all as well? Because I don't think I have Dustin on the list. Let me check. Let me check. I don't think I do. I know Dustin said he probably might be coming. Let me see. Do I have Dustin on here? I do not. No Dustin. You're very welcome, JJ. Oh, you don't know if you're coming yet, Aki Dustin? Okay. Okay. No worries. Aki Emmanuel, you about to say you done? Yeah, we getting ready to get off here in a minute together. I'm gonna drive from Hawaii. I hope you got a car boat. Or is it a boat car? How do they say that? I will definitely make it to the next Pesach. Okay, Jamie. Amphibious vehicle. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, Miss Baka, let's go ahead and shut her down. Let's do the Aaronic Barakah, Numbers chapter 6. Numbers chapter 6. Calvin Brown, you're in Phoenix, then you're more than welcome to come over for the festivities. We knew there was going to be some more people that's from the Phoenix area. Yes, we would like for you to come and be a part of the Mishpachah. Please get a hold of me on ambassadorsofyah@gmail.com and let me know, Calvin, that it's you, and I'll give you all the info, okay? Linda, you too? Yes, definitely. Yep. Those of you who live in the Phoenix area, or if you're willing to drive, again, there are going to be, we only have so many room for so many people. But again, if you just want to come, you want to crash on the floor, we'll make sure you have some place to sleep. We'll have a padded mat, out of the way where nobody steps on you. We also do ask that if you are coming, even if you're not part of the group, that you would not be hesitant to, and I can't talk about it right now, but tomorrow, I almost slipped up, but we'll talk about it tomorrow. But let's do this. Numbers chapter 6, verse 22. Yes, Onyx, you know I'm almost done for today, baby boy. You know. Okay. And it reads, verse 22, chapter 6 of Numbers. And Yahuah spoke to Moshe, saying, Speak to Aaron and his sons, saying, This is how you barak the children of Yasharal. Say to them, Yahuah barak you and guard you. Yahuah make his face shine upon you and show favor to you. Yahuah lift up his face upon you and give you shalom. Thus they shall put my name on the children of Yasharal, and I myself shall barak them. Hallelujah. Yahuah.
May Yahuah bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Yahuah. So shall you put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. May Yahuah bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. So shall you put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them. May Yahuah bless you and keep you. May he make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May he lift up his countenance upon you and give you shalom. Yahuah. So shall you put
My name upon the children of Yasharal, and I will barak them. Ooh. All right, Mishpachah. So that brings us to another Yaum, another ending of a Shabbat this week. I don't know how that one came on, but again, I want to thank all of you for your time with us. And if there's anything that I did not answer, anything, please bring it back next week. Yahuah willing, I'll try to answer it if I even have the answer for it. Excuse me. And again, I'll be on tomorrow for a little while before I have to go to work. And we'll just go from there. I am Og Jimmy, also known as Brother Jimmy. And again, I want to thank you all for your time. We are known as the ambassadors of Yah. Please tell your friends, your family members, anyone who wants to know this truth or that you think may be interested in knowing this truth, please let them know about this. We're not the only ministry that is talking about this information. There are others as well who have come to this understanding, and they too are speaking this truth. I ask that you would have all of us in your palals who are speaking this truth, that we will continue as yourself to continue to speak this truth to others that are around you, because the time is short, Mishpachah. Don't know how much time we have left with each other on these airwaves, on this digital platform. But while we have it, we're going to share the truth to all who will hear. Hallelujah to the esteem. Hallelujah to the esteem of Abba Yahuah. Shalom, Mishpachah. Shabbat Shalom.
We are seeking those of the children of Yasharo, straight out of the book, the scriptures. Verses sharper than fishing hooks, snagging souls, taking tolls, leaving devils shook. Who we be? Messenger bringers, that's the key. Unlocking minds, leaving darkness in debris. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Listen close, hear us, yeah. Verses be thumping, shofars be blowing, beat be steady. Word power every hour, truth already. Planted deep secrets, keep fools unsteady. We elevate till your fate be ready. No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Listen close, hear us, yeah. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Listen close, hear us, yeah.
Yes, hallelujah.
No compromise. Open your eyes, see the light. Walk tall, stand strong with all your might. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Spreading love from near to far. We are the ambassadors, ambassadors, yeah. Listen close.